Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Batman, Selina Kyle Unmasked. This is Catwoman with her mask up. Catwoman is played by Zoë Kravitz in The Batman. This is pretty much a variant of the first release. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse, The Batman, Selina Kyle Unmasked. Here she's in the package. She comes with a whip. It's curled up, different from the whip that came with the regular Catwoman, and I appreciate that. She also has a display stand and collector's card. One side of the pack, Selina Kyle Unmasked from The Batman. Other side, Selina Kyle Unmasked. The bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case it helps anybody. And on the back side, Catwoman, mask off, sliding down on the side of a building. Now, she does have a piece of her mask on top of her head, so you can't really make Selina Kyle in civilian attire with this. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And I did end up getting two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection. I got my figures from CMD Store. And here's the entire collection of McFarlane's DC Multiverse, The Batman. I finally have the entire thing unopened, and open as well. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She does come with a display stand, a collector's card, and then Catwoman's whip, but this version is rolled up. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Catwoman from The Batman. Catwoman was played by Zoë Kravitz. This is the unmasked version, and I'm immediately disappointed as she has the mask pulled up around the top of her head. I wish she completely had the mask off. I would have bought another one of this figure so I could make Selina Kyle in civilian attire. I enjoyed this figure for what it is, but definitely disappointed how they executed the head. Now this is the second of 3 different versions of Catwoman that McFarlane has made for The Batman. The first version had the mask completely covering the head. Then we have this one with the mask at the very top. And there's a gold label, Walmart exclusive, I believe, edition. And it has the mask covering the majority of the face with the mouth exposed. And that is movie accurate. I don't actually remember her ever having her mask at the very top of her head like this. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but not that I can recall off the top of my head. So let's take a closer look. So, looking at her face, the likeness of Zoë Kravitz is not bad. Something about the cheeks and the eyebrows. This figure does have the side eye going on. She's looking to the right, which is pretty annoying. You can see the sort of cat ears at the top. The mask is bunched up. It doesn't look bad, but God, I really wish this head didn't have the mask on at all. The suit is the exact same body as the masked Catwoman. The texture is very nice. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. It actually looks very nice with the exception of these giant ball joints on her legs. And just a closer look at her face and head sculpt. Like I said, I think the likeness is there. Here's the original version of Catwoman with the full mask on. I don't remember her wearing the mask like this in the film at all. I could be wrong there as well, just off the top of my head. Looking hard for the gold version right now. Now let's take a look at her accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's her display stand, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC at the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes at her feet, very thin, very basic. Now let's look at her collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Catwoman posed up. She's sort of scaling down the side of a building. Whip. Selina Kyle Unmasked from The Batman. On the other side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Here's the unmasked Catwoman's collector's card, next to the masked version on the right. It's essentially the same shot, just with each different figure in place. Now let's look at her whip. Whip rolled up, you can see it's got this sort of odd end here, and so did the other one. I'm guessing that's where she holds it. It looks like it should plug into something, just looks very odd. But it does have some nice sculpting and texture to it. Here's this rolled up whip, next to the outstretched whip that came with the masked version of Catwoman. Here she is, holding the rolled up version at her side. and then holding the standard version. And I wanted to check her out next to the regular masked version of Catwoman to see if there were any differences besides the obvious head difference. And there's absolutely nothing. These figures are 100% the same sculpt, same everything, minus the head. Now, neither one of these are exactly the version from the film. There is a third gold label Walmart exclusive version, and that's the one I'm really looking for right now. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories. Now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, she's standing at about 6.6 inches tall, which is going to translate to a hair under 17 centimeters. Now let's check out her articulation. Starting with her head here, of course, you can rotate from side to side. She can look up about that far, down about that far, not too bad. Can tilt her head from one side to the other, giving a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out way more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. Her wrist can rotate, it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint in her torso, rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint in her waist, rotate around, go forward and back, giving her a pretty good range of motion in her torso area. Legs completely does a split, not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is pretty minimal. Legs go forward about that far, back, not much. Double jointed knees, they go all the way back. Then her ankles, now they look really hideous, really way too big. Forward and back, can rotate, can tilt, rock, and she has two articulation. Here's a look at Catwoman's apartment. She's got a ton of feline friends. And here's Catwoman standing in her apartment. Then Batman visiting her. He says, "You've got a lot of cats." And she replies, "Yeah, I've got a thing for strays." And here she is, lying in her apartment surrounded by cats. Here's Catwoman on the rooftop, fully masked up and ready to go. And then Batman embracing Catwoman on the rooftop. Right before Catwoman leaves, Batman says, "Selina, don't throw away your life." And she says, "Don't worry, baby. I've got 9 of them." Here's Catwoman, first confronting the Batman in the mayor's home. And here she is, scaling down the side of a building. Now let's check her out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to the regular masked Catwoman. Looking forward to the third variation of Catwoman. She hasn't hit my area yet, but I'm going to be scouting Walmart's hard. And here she is, next to the unmasked Batman. Once again, wasn't really happy with his head, as I wasn't able to make a civilian Bruce Wayne out of this figure. And here she is, next to the unmasked Drifter Bruce Wayne. McFarlane made a decent amount of unmasked variants, and they're the Batman line. And here's McFarlane's entire The Batman collection, which I thought was fully complete until I found out about the gold label semi-masked Catwoman. Here are all the female figures McFarlane has made so far in their DC Multiverse line. Quite a few. I can think of 3 that I'm missing that are already out. That's going to be the gold label Todd McFarlane designed Wonder Woman, the gold label The Batman Catwoman, and the unpainted Gotham Knights Batgirl Platinum Edition. Now let's check her out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to a couple of Lobo figures. And here she is, next to Superboy Prime and the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn. Then, next to the Speed Force Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth Comics. And now, next to a couple of Mortal Kombat 11 Joker figures. And here she is, next to Batman Beyond's Unmasked Batwoman and the Atomic Edition of Blight. Then, next to a couple of General Zod figures. And here, next to the Future State Batman and Dark Detective. Then, with the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack. And now, with the Rebirth Batman and the Infinite Frontier Robin. And here she is, with the Lois and Clark Superman and the Rebirth Martian Manhunter, and with the Justice League Endless Winter Aquaman and the Death of the Family Joker. Then, with Ultraman and the Zur-En-Arrh Batman. And here she is, with McFarlane's most recent mega figures, Titan Joker and Clayface. And here she is, with McFarlane's Gotham Knights figures, still trying to track down the unpainted Batgirl. Here she is, with the Batman 3 Jokers wave. Here she is, next to the Batman The Dark Knight Returns Collective Build a Horse wave. And then, next to the Justice League Endless Winter Collective Build Frost King wave. And finally, here she is, next to my most recent McFarlane DC Multiverse acquisition. This is the Anti-Crisis Gold Wonder Woman. Now let's check her out, next to some other Catwoman figures. Here she is, with the other McFarlane Catwoman figures. Then, next to a DST, or Diamond Select Toys, Cat from Gotham. And here she is, with all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Catwoman figures. Then, next to a Yamato Catwoman. And here she is, next to a Soap Studios Catwoman. Then, next to a couple of Mezco Catwomen. And here, with all of my Mattel Catwoman figures. Then, next to my Mafex Catwoman figures. And here she is, next to my SH Figure Arts Catwoman. And now, next to a Hot Toys Catwoman. Then, next to my Kenner Catwoman figures. Here's my entire collection of Catwoman figures. And believe it or not, I don't have them all. Here she is, next to an old Danger Girl figure. I use this for Catwoman Unmasked. Now let's check her out, next to some other cat-themed action figures. Here she is, next to both a Mattel and a custom Catman figure. Then, next to a Mattel Wildcat. And here, next to some cheetah figures. Then, with a custom Tigress figure. And here she is, with some Fortnite cat figures, Kit, Meowscles, and Lynx. Now let's check her out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But let's start off by comparing her with some of her McFarlane Toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jakks-specific wrestling figures. And here she is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select Toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here she is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here she is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here she is, with some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a nice figure, but I sure prefer the version with the mask fully covering the face. I'm definitely disappointed with the fact that they put the mask on top of her head. I think it looks kind of stupid, and it prevents me from making a civilian Selina Kyle, which is really what I wanted to do. Overall, her articulation's pretty nice. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. I really like the body, the different texture on the suit. Her ankle balls just look hideous. They could have made those a lot smaller. Her accessory is fine, the rolled up whip, although I prefer the extended version. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give her a 6 out of 10. It's a nice figure, but not a necessary figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.